Good morning, folks, and welcome back to week 14 of building construction for the fire service. We are on the downhill run for this course. There's not a lot left in terms of time or content, and so we'll be working this week to get through another chapter and to wrap up some of the details of the course. This week you're going to be reading chapter 13 in the IFSTA book, which looks at buildings under construction. And buildings under construction pose a number of threats to firefighters. For one thing, many of the building's fire protection strategies are not fully enabled until the building is complete. So you may find things like sprinkler systems are not operational, alarm systems, some of the passive fire protection systems such as compartmentation, fire doors, pressurized stairways. All of those things may be compromised while the building's under construction. Additionally, we find many ignition sources and fuel packages that are available to the fire that under normal circumstances wouldn't be. For instance, in the construction of steel frame buildings, we've got welding going on. We may have flame cutting going on. We've got pipe fitters that are doing soldering operations, in some cases if they're using copper pipe that's going to involve open flame. We may have construction materials, things that are flammable like insulation, carpet, things of that nature, piled in large stacks where the building is being worked on. Even if the building's undergoing remodeling, I think about a scenario where there's a hotel fire in Louisiana that involved much of the 9th floor, and that floor was completely full of mattresses from hotel rooms and other floors that were undergoing renovation. So the remodeling of the building caused large fuel loads to be placed in a floor that ultimately ended up burning. So you can really get into some challenging situations with buildings that are under construction. Of course, one other element is, fall protection, right? We may have holes in floors. We may have mezzanines and overlooks and things like that that don't have appropriate railings, or stairways that aren't installed. So that's what this chapter is going to look at. Now, to bolster that, I also have a video posted here that you can see, the Fire Officers Handbooks of Tactics, and this is from Chief John Norman. So you've seen some of his other materials in the course. It's about a 45-minute video about buildings under construction, and I'd ask you to watch that in its entirety. It does a good job, I think, of summarizing and reinforcing what you're going to encounter in the textbook. Finally, you're continuing to work through the NCST research paper this week, and I have given feedback to a number of the submissions. I'll continue to work through those this week for the things that have already been submitted. This week's portion of the paper is going to be your conclusions and recommendations. So hopefully at this point you've read the NCST report, you've basically got a narrative together as to how events unfolded. You've looked at proximate causes, contributory causes, and root causes of the disaster that generated the report. And now you're trying to draw some conclusions and make some recommendations. So looking at the big picture, looking at the whole chain of causation, are there some conclusions you can reach? For instance, was communication between design professionals a significant issue, as it was in the Kansas City Skywalk collapse? Was it a material problem? Was it a design problem? Things of that nature. Was it just failure to anticipate certain types of loading on the parts of the designers or constructors of the building? You're going to draw some conclusions and then also hopefully make some recommendations. So an example might be if you look at the World Trade Center. We know that a significant contributory cause to the collapse of the World Trade Center was the fact that the fire stopping between the floors and the stairwells was of gypsum construction, which was a very cost-effective way to provide fire stopping. The problem was that the gypsum was not robust to an aircraft crashing into the building, and all of the fire stopping was blown off of the stairway, which substantially crippled the building's ability to suppress the fire, because in that process the sprinkler standpipes were sheared off. So maybe your recommendation, given that analysis, maybe your recommendation is that stairwell walls should be hardened to protect that critical infrastructure. That'd just be one example of a recommendation you could make after you looked at the report from the NCST. So you're going to summarize those thoughts, and again, you'll submit that as a Word document using the Conclusions and Recommendations submission tab. Beyond that, I don't have much new content for this week. Again, if you're missing things, please work on getting those in. The end of the semester is coming very, very quickly, and I want to ensure that all of you are successful in the class. As always, if there's anything I can do to help your learning, please feel free to get in touch with me at the contacts listed in the syllabus.